Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Hold on a second while we wait on YouTube. I am surprisingly not feeling great today, so I don't know how today's stream's gonna go on and be handled. I have a lot that I want to talk about in general, but we'll get to it when we get to it. I guess the first thing I want to throw out there is what I just mentioned a little bit earlier. I haven't been getting as much sleep as I'd like. My day today has been off to a rough start. I don't know if it's going to impact the stream, but I'll try not to let it. I'm not feeling very good right now. It's been something's going on for like 2 days. Give me a second. I have my stuff set up on I accidentally had something blocking part of my view of chat so I can check messages easy. Anyway, like I was saying, I haven't been feeling great. I haven't got as much sleep as I'd like. Both yesterday and today I've been having some stomach problems. Today I've been having like some pretty bad headaches just all of a sudden, and the day's not really been going too long yet. It's not been an easy day for me. It's been a bit of a rough start, and I was going to try and start streaming earlier. I just didn't have everything ready for it. I don't know if that was a good decision or a bad decision. I may not be able to talk a lot today. It's not that I don't want to. I have a lot that I want to bring up, and I thought about a lot that I wanted to discuss, but I'm not feeling great at the moment, to be honest. I'm feeling like my whole body is kind of fighting against me, and feeling like I'm kind of not feeling that good. Like, I don't know what the fuck is with me. I don't think it's COVID or anything. I think I just got something like a bug, like maybe the flu or something. My stomach's been definitely tearing me up all morning, and my head's been hurting really fucking badly to the point that I don't know why it's doing that. I've taken extra dose of ibuprofen. Hopefully I'll be okay. I'll try to tough it out. How's everybody else doing today? I hope you guys are sincerely having a much better day than me. I was planning to do a stream today and tomorrow and then take a little bit of a break, but shit, if I'm feeling like this, I might be better off taking a break first thing tomorrow and not pushing myself if I can even finish today. I want to get this shiny hunt ended though, and I want it over with, so I'm going to continue trucking on doing my best. Let's see here. I'm thinking on what all I wanted to talk about. There's a few things that are on my mind. I want to talk about game movies and stuff, and I wanted to talk about, what was it? The game-based movies thing is one thing I had that was like a topic I thought about for a little bit. There was one other, if I could just remember what it was, and it related to something important, and now I'm drawing a blank. Shit. Of course, when I get online to stream, it fades from my memory what I was thinking of. Well, whatever. So, let's see. I'm gonna change topic to a little bit of something different, I guess, for a little bit. I've talked about this before, but just something that might be okay to talk about for a little bit. If not, whatever. What are the worst sick days you guys have experienced? I'm curious. I normally have to deal with stuff with, like, if I'm sick, it's usually a lot of recent years been like sore throat or whatever, sometimes a fever and vomiting and stuff, and that's always nasty. I've had too many times where I've been like really, really out of control over the last years where my body's been fighting me like this, though. This is like a first where it feels like everything's hurting pretty badly at the moment. I remember now, I was going to talk about something else that, I don't know if this is exactly what I had in mind, but I was going to say, like, it was about pains I wanted to mention, because we'll get into that topic in a second or two, actually. I'm just thinking on all the times I've been sick. I think, yeah, it's always been mostly puking or stuff. Diarrhea sucks, too, and you're stuck on the toilet all day. I was honestly kind of worried that might have been what was happening to me today, because I don't know about you guys, but I know that feeling when you get stuck and you need to go to the bathroom and you think you're done, then you get up and you find your stomach starts hurting again or something is wrong and you need to go back to the bathroom. It's not a very pleasant feeling, to say the least. It really, really sucks, and then you spend your whole day stuck there not doing anything. That's the kind of feeling that's very, very painful. Let's see, I'm trying to think like what's the worst ones I can think of. Diarrhea, fucking vomiting, fever, that stuff. I don't think I've had the flu more than maybe one time. I think when I was younger I may have caught it. I've never actually had it. I know there were like strands of the flu that got really bad, like the swine flu and the bird flu and whatnot. Those are taken care of, I think, already by this point. Let's see. I don't know if we ever caught, me and my brother ever caught like chicken pox or anything when it comes to sicknesses. I think I was lucky and didn't have to deal with that in the end. We got really lucky to not have to put up with that kind of crap. It was something that probably would have sucked to really deal with as a little kid. I know it's like your whole body's itchy and you don't feel good and you got spots all over you. I'm glad I didn't deal with that. I think I've heard of chickenpox, or maybe it's something else that's like apparently not that dangerous to little kid, but really dangerous to adults. So, ooh, the idea of catching that sounds like it'd be pretty terrifying. Anyway, let's change the subject for a little bit. I'm going to talk about something else. We'll talk about foods for a little bit, and then I'll move over to that other subject I wanted to talk about a little bit later. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about sour foods. How do you guys feel about that stuff anyway? Just trying to make small talk. If you don't want to talk about it, whatever, not really a big deal. I don't really like sour foods personally when it comes to that stuff. I can eat them, but not a fan of them. Say, for instance, lemons and limes, don't care for them. I do find that I like lemonade pretty well, but I mean, lemonade's sweetened to make it taste better, so it's only natural I'd like it a little more. I think most people who don't like lemons could probably say they like lemonade because lemonade's got sugar in it to make it taste better. Let's see, what else is there? I don't know if pickles qualify as sour. I don't eat pickles on any food, though. I don't really like pickles very much. I find their taste to not be very good. I used to not even be able to eat, like, sour candies, but I kind of got to the point where I don't mind it as much now as an adult. Hold on a second. I'm going to check on something. I'm curious, because I don't remember about this. That's weird. When I search it, I don't see, like, a lot of results on stuff that I'm looking up. I thought there was more than just like what I was mentioning. Oh, whatever. Anyway, like I was saying, where was I? We got sidetracked. Like, I mean, like, I've certain candies actually are sour now, and I don't mind them. Like, the Warheads are okay. They're a little hard to eat. Sour Patch Kids are surprisingly good because they start off sour, but the taste gets better the more you eat it. Problem is I can't handle sour food for the life of me when it comes to like eating it in a larger quantity. I think that's natural though. I don't know if it's like a common thing. I've seen like some people where they eat too much sour food and their tongue kind of puckers up from eating it. I don't think I'd ever want to do that, and frankly I don't like sour foods. I don't know, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. What kind of foods do you guys like when it comes to like variety, sweet, spicy, sour, like, maybe that's not the right word, or something like juicy or tender, like meat, maybe, that kind of thing. Just curious to hear any opinions on that. Speaking of sour stuff, I mean, well, actually, sour's not the right word, but like, here's another thing that should be, hopefully, another interesting topic to discuss. So, what's everybody's opinion on fruits and vegetables? I'm curious to hear about this. I don't like vegetables a lot when it comes to just like eating. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of eating vegetables. I can eat them, especially certain types like potatoes, and there's something else if I can remember what it was that I was thinking of. Potatoes are one of the easier ones to eat. There's a lot of, I think corn qualifies as a vegetable too, doesn't it? Even though it's starch. I'm pretty sure those are both the classification of a vegetable. But yeah, corn and potatoes, those kind of things are alright. I don't care for carrots. Most of the vegetables I've had, I don't really love. I like fruit pretty well. I don't know. I think the problem with vegetables is there are a lot of vegetables are just kind of they're good for you, but they don't have a very good taste, in my opinion. They kind of taste compared to fruit. Funny, because tomato can be made into like sauce or whatever, mixed in for like spaghetti or something along those lines, and tomato sauce is actually pretty good. But I would assume most of the time when they make tomato sauce that they kind of make the taste a little bit more enriched and easier to enjoy than just eating straight up tomato sauce. I don't know how that works though. It's not like it's bad. I mean, I get pizza and pizza has tomato sauce and I like pizza, so yeah. I mean, it depends. Can't really judge a vegetable or fruit purely based on like what they taste like without anything else. Since lemons for lemonade, you can find a very distinct difference. I'm thinking here. Yeah, I don't think I really eat them too often. I don't mind eating vegetables. I don't really love it though. There's just ways. I think it's like partially about you guys. I think vegetables are better when you try to give them a little more flavor, not necessarily take away the nutritional value, but like eating broccoli with like cheese on it or whatever. That's a way to. My throat's bothering me. Excuse me. That's a way to make it where it's a little better tasting, a little easier to eat, and not so hard to like scarf it down and actually enjoy it. I can actually find myself enjoying that, or vegetable soup or something along those lines. Something where you mix it and make it better tasting and still get your serving of vegetables. I don't know. I've never really loved them. What's the worst vegetable in your guys' opinion? I think maybe carrots for me. I don't mind like some stuff like carrot cake or whatever, but I don't like carrots individually, no matter how I can think of it. I've never been big on carrots. I think I can maybe eat them with like a little bit of, say, like ranch sauce. I don't know if there's any other way I'd prefer to eat them though. Squash isn't that good either. I don't know what my favorite is. Maybe potatoes, I think I said earlier. Fruit, I can say with confidence, I like fruit better than vegetables. I can name quite a few fruit that I eat. Maybe not super commonly, but I'm not averse to eating fruit the same way I am for vegetables. Also, good God, I want this shiny hunt to end. I want this to be fucking done and over with, and been doing this for a while without any results. It is starting to bother me a little bit how long this hunt's going on without an end. Also, I'm a little bit depressed about how nobody's been showing up. Not really a big deal, but I mean, I would like to have people to talk to. The fact that nobody's hanging around the streams right now is definitely a little bit on the depressing side. Whatever, though. Let's see, where were we? Talking about fruit. I don't consider a tomato a fruit before anyone asks, if anyone's even going to ask in the first place. I never really cared for tomato too much either. It seems more like a vegetable, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with science, and classification of it is very, very weird and kind of odd. Let's see, there's so many I can name that are actually good. I'll try to name some of my favorites, I guess. Strawberries are good. I've talked about it on stream, but I don't mind talking about it a little more. Strawberries are good for putting it in desserts, or say you get like sugar and eat them with that, or you can eat them with chocolate. They're also good that way. I find even plain and straight, what? It's not the right word. It meant to say plain strawberries. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. Sorry, I got my words mixed up and couldn't figure out how to word what I was trying to say. Plain strawberries are usually pretty fine too, so I don't mind eating them. They're fairly good, actually, in my opinion. Apples are also pretty good. They're fairly nutritious, and I can eat an apple without too much trouble. I don't mind eating apples, so I'd say, yeah, apples are alright, just like strawberries. They're fairly tasty, fairly good. I hear a lot of people when mostly kids, I guess, but like adults too, like when it comes to juice, actually, especially fruit juice, people like apple juice. I am not huge fan of apple juice. I can drink fruit juice just fine. I enjoy it. I find apple juice to be a little bit too sweet for my liking and tend to avoid drinking it as a result of that. So I never really had very strong feeling towards drinking apple juice ever. That's not to say that it's the worst fruit juice. I'm not, like, I know most people only think of like 3 different types because they're the big ones: grape juice, orange juice, apple juice, but there's also like cranberry juice and coconut juice, all these other assorted, excuse me, what's the word I'm thinking of? Assorted juices, yeah, that are sold out there. Cranberry juice is like completely awful from anybody who's never had it before, so I don't love it. I've had it, and it sucks, to be honest. Let's talk about orange. We'll talk about other fruit, too. Talk about all of them, to be honest. Oranges, I don't really hate them. I don't love them. They're pretty good fruit. They have a nice enough flavor, but they're a little on the tangy side where I'm not huge on eating them. I like them, but if I had to pick a fruit that I really wanted to eat and really like, I may not go to oranges as my first resort. I mean, I find they're pretty enjoyable overall, but when you eat most of the orange and you can, like, I don't know if anybody else does, like, you suck the juice out of it a little bit, like the orange, the juice inside of the orange is actually not that bad, so that part of the orange is pretty good in my opinion. Orange is alright. I can eat orange just fine. I find orange to be somewhat enjoyable. Fairly good fruit. Grapes are good too. I find that I really like grapes and I can eat a whole bunch of them. I don't eat them like some people do where they're just gobbling down a whole bunch of them at one time and then eating them non-stop. I like them. I'll eat like a bowl or 2 of grapes, but I don't eat more than that usually. Grapes are pretty good. They're really sweet. They're definitely nice little fruit and a nice treat to eat when you're hungry. I find grapes are just like the perfect kind of thing for like maybe a small meal or snack fruit or whatever. You can just grab some grapes, eat them, and then get a decent amount of nutrition out of it. And if you're needing a meal but you didn't want anything big, grapes wouldn't exactly be a bad choice. Grapes could work as a fair meal, so I like grapes. They're pretty good. Sorry if this isn't the most entertaining stream of all, I'm just racking my brain a little bit. I thought maybe talking about fruits and vegetables could be a decent way to mix things up a little bit. I don't think I did this discussion on the stream before. Maybe I'm wrong if I have. I don't think I've done very in-depth discussion on it, so that's why I'm trying to this time and seeing if it's something that might be a little more interesting. Might as well try to think of new things to talk about when I can. Let's see, other fruit. I guess I can talk about some that I don't like that I've had. Like, for instance, I think kiwi maybe, unless I'm misremembering. Not one I'm big on. The flavor wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that interesting. Avocado, it's not very sweet. It just tastes kind of id. Frankly, avocado has that kind of taste that it feels mushy and weird and reminds me of some of the worst tasting vegetables that I've had, so I don't really eat it very often. I don't completely hate it, but I don't like it very much either. I find it to be really nasty tasting compared to other fruit I've had. There's a few that I don't really love. Grapefruit is another one that I'm not big on, and I find that grapefruit have like too weird of a taste for me to actually enjoy them, so I don't really eat those. I forget if I've had cranberry. Cranberry, I don't remember if I've had that. I don't think it's like super good though. We can go back to talking about better fruit actually. I don't mind. We're on the topic of oranges and grapes. I didn't cover the juices, and I want to talk about apple juice right now. I'm curious, what is everybody's favorite fruit juice, if you guys even have one? I mean, not a juice, but I'd say smoothies are good. We can go back to the smoothies thing and talk about that quite a bit in a little bit, so I'll leave that there for a little later. Give me a second. Oh, fuck. I need 1 second, actually. My fucking back's not feeling great, and also, I mentioned I might not be feeling amazing right now, so if I stop talking for a little bit, my bad. I'm having a bit of a rough start of a day, actually, so things have been going less than pleasant. Ugh. Where was I? Orange juice. Okay, yeah, I think I remember. I think orange juice, out of all the juices that I've had, like, out of, like, fruit juice, might be my favorite. I'm not really certain. Orange juice has got, like, that good mix of, like, not being too sweet and not being hard to handle. The flavor's very good and it tastes nice to drink it. Like, it's got a good enough flavor that I find that I like drinking it when I'm in the mood for something like a juice or whatever without looking for anything else like milk or, say, like soda, just something plain simple that has a little bit of flavor. Orange juice gets the job done, and orange juice tastes good and has a fairly nice flavor. Like I said, it tastes really good cold. Grape juice is good too. I like grape juice, but grape juice, it kind of leans towards the same direction as apple juice with the whole being sweet, but I think in terms of grape juice, I can handle the sweetness a little bit better, and it's a very, very good kind of sweet, but I don't really enjoy drinking a lot of grape juice. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I like grape juice, but I feel like it's one of those things I would rather drink in moderation. Apple juice, I just don't have a fucking hankering for drinking apple juice too much. I genuinely feel like apple juice is way more sugary than it should be, so like I said earlier, I don't think I care much for apple juice. Let's see, a few more fruits I can talk about before we drop this subject and move on to another, actually. I remember, let's see, cherries are good. I've had cherries, enough that I can remember them well. I mean, fruit talk isn't bad, but maybe not the most interesting. Cherries are fairly good. I like their flavor. Not the best in the world, but they taste very sweet, very nice in a way that's not too bad. I find cherries to be pretty enjoyable as far as fruit go. They're also really good for topping different things, so cherries are always nice. I think I've had like cherry juice too. It's pretty good. I don't know if I find them to be great. I'm probably going to wrap this topic up and switch topics to something a little more hopefully interesting for you guys in a second. But I'm going to do one more thing I wanted to talk about fruit-wise. I like bananas quite a bit, actually, when it comes to fruit. I wouldn't say they're my favorite or even close to it. Bananas are pretty good, though. Bananas are nutritious. That's a fairly big fruit. Maybe not super big, but like you get a decent amount of food out of eating it, and one banana is at least enough to make a hearty breakfast, if not enough for like another small meal if you just really want to eat something like that. The only problem I have with bananas is that bananas are not so easy to peel. Sometimes it's very easy, sometimes it's not. Also, maybe it's just me, but it seems like you can see rotten bits of bananas like really easy, like where they're black and end up not looking like it's a good idea to eat it and have to cut it out of the banana, so that's never something I find to be fun to have to put up with. I don't enjoy the idea of having to cut it into pieces and get rid of the bad pieces if I don't eat it quick enough. That's something I am not big on. Actually, I've heard some interesting things about bananas regarding like how bananas are grown. Like about the fact that supposedly we haven't had like real bananas in a long time. Apparently the ones we've got now are different kind of banana that kind of sprouted up after we started raising them, and like the original banana was a little bit different in color and taste compared to what we've got. Like apparently, I think it was something about sunlight or something like actually changed the way they were like change their growth or something. I don't know all the details. I'd have to look it up. I'll double check this in a second before we change topics, because bananas are always a fairly interesting topic when you get into that part of the discussion and bring up the whole matter of what the original bananas were like. I'm curious to see what Google tells me when I look this up, actually, so we'll see. Give me a second or two. Hey, Wayne. What's up? Welcome to stream. You haven't been missing out on a whole lot. I've been feeling kind of, just not completely with it today. I've been feeling like I've been having a rough start of the day. I've been having a nasty headache, and stomach's been acting up. There's been a lot of problems I've been dealing with today, so not been feeling good. You didn't miss out on anything important discussion-wise. Okay, where was I? Pizza today sounds good. I don't know if I could handle pizza right now. My stomach's been fucking crazy and acting like one bad thing would fucking go and fucking set off my stomach like it's a fucking nuke right now, so I've been very, very careful with how I've been eating for the day. It's not been a very great start of the day since I didn't sleep well and that came up. Talked about a lot of things earlier. Talked about stuff like fruit and vegetables for a little bit, too. You see. We're the deluxe edition of Rise. Too excited. Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling on the whole Monster Hunter thing yet. I still have to gather my thoughts on what game I want particularly more than anything and decide if I want to get Monster Hunter Rise or not. I haven't been able to make my mind up on... I was surprised. I looked up that game I mentioned yesterday, and turns out I got the name partly wrong. It's Balan Wonder World. I don't know why I thought it was Wonderland. I guess because the name... When I sounded it out in my head, it sounds like... makes more sense as Wonderland. I never quite got the name down, so I guess that makes sense. Hold on a second. So we were talking about fruit, actually. I remembered something interesting I found earlier. You guys ever heard about online how, like, supposedly, like, when it comes to fruit, that the bananas that we have nowadays are not real bananas? Like how, when it comes to fruit, that apparently real bananas are, like, pretty much extinct, and the bananas we raise now taste different and look different from older bananas. Before you came in the chat, I was actually looking this up because I was a little interested in the details about it. It's kind of interesting to think that, like, out of all these years of us raising animals and, like, growing fruit and vegetables and stuff, that some of them may have changed because of, like, a climate change or whatever. Actually, we'll talk about this subject a little bit while I'm doing this. I don't want to make this too boring. I'm curious, since you missed out on this conversation, Wayne. If you don't care, it's not a big deal, but, like, what's your favorite fruit? I'm curious to hear about that. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to read this article while I check for new chat messages. Hold on a second. Taking a moment to see what this all says. God damn it, I have to be very careful where I'm walking to. That's weird. I would look at this, the problem is, like, it's very, very hard to fucking tell what the hell this is. Like, there's a lot of info and it's too much to read about find what I'm looking for, so I decided to just close it. I was gonna try and find that I was looking for, but I can't see anybody who's actually marked, like, a clear difference between our modern bananas we have now and, like, the bananas that were around, like, 1,000 years ago, so I guess I won't worry about that right now. It's just a small topic thing that I wanted to talk about, but finding info on it looks to be a bit of a pain in the ass, actually. And most things based on mango, standard banana, or apple and a blueberry. Blueberries are good from what I think I've had them sometimes and I like them. There's always good in like dessert stuff and stuff like that. Usually like blueberry muffins are good, and a lot of stuff that has blueberry used in it is pretty good. I personally am the kind of person, I think my favorite is to eat strawberries. I do like bananas. Not sure if they're my favorite. Strawberries are a big one for me. I'm not big on them. I enjoy eating cherries as well. I guess my other favorite might be orange. I'm not really certain because I don't go through and eat like a ton of fruit, so I don't really get to eat them that often because I don't really buy them. I guess I don't think about it. Strawberry is good though. Strawberry is always something I enjoy eating. Very, very delicious in my opinion, and can be used in a number of different ways that can just be really, really pleasurable to actually eat. I'm not sure if I've actually had like mango properly or not, and I will say there's some fruits I don't like. I remember like I haven't really had it proper, but every time I've had anything that's been coconut flavored, it's made me like really grossed out how it tastes, and I cannot stand eating coconut. And well, actually, I don't know about coconut. Coconut's something I think I've had a little bit of stuff, but it's not like bad. This got coconut mixed up with something else. My bad. I was meant to say pineapple. Pineapple, something I've had on several things. Never had like a straight up cut up pineapple, but I don't like the pineapple flavor most things have, and pineapple's one of those things I just find it to be nasty. It's really sweet, but it's not very tasty in my opinion. Not very good. What I've had of coconut's okay. I've never had like coconut milk, because I know you're not supposed to eat any coconut straight up, so I don't know how coconut actually properly tastes though, so couldn't really give any 2 cents on it. Actually, another fruit that this is one I don't like, and I don't know if you guys agree on me on this. I can't get into watermelon. I don't find watermelon to be very good. It's way too sweet for my taste. I guess I have very particular taste, but watermelon's okay, but it's very much too rich. And like there's a lot of seeds in it. You have to cut it up a bunch when you're eating it. It's something I find that I never really love eating, and a lot of my family likes watermelon quite a bit. I just can't eat it for whatever reason. I don't really hate it. I can eat it in like certain things when it's mixed up right, but I mean, I'll never really understand why so many people love watermelon and gush on about it, and people are quick to buy up an entire watermelon and they'll spend like a whole day eating it. I cannot, for the life of me, bring myself to like watermelon that much, frankly. I don't know. It's not a bad fruit, but it's certainly not one I enjoy eating. Talked about vegetables a little bit earlier too, but I don't want to go back into that subject any. Speaking of Monster Hunter, since you brought that up, and I was going to talk about that a little bit actually. Anybody here watch that movie, that Monster Hunter movie thing that came out? I don't know how it is. It looks kind of to be honest. Like it seems like they took a live action and CG approach to it. I've been hearing from a lot of people who... Oh, excuse me, my throat. I meant to say that a lot of people I've seen talking about it online say it kind of looks not so good and looks very slocky, like it doesn't really prioritize or focus on anything that Monster Hunter actually is like, so I'm not sure what to make of that. It looks like it's a really weird movie, considering it's not got the same structure, and it's showing, like, military fighting monsters and shit, and it's like, this isn't what Monster Hunter's about. I don't really get what the fuck the point of this movie is. I never watched it, but the trailer alone makes it pretty apparent that it's not normal Monster Hunter, and people who watched it have kind of complained about that, so I don't know. You don't watch many video game movies? Huh. I don't watch them that often, but I mean, it's very easy to hear about them. I hear, like, the Doom movies over the recent year have also been really, really bad. I know the Sonic movies apparently been pretty good. What was it I was going to mention in terms of movies? I mean, I know there's the Mario thing. I'm not concerned about the Mario movie just yet. I mean, I'll watch the new one when it comes out and check it out. I think I know what I was going to bring up. It was about game movies. Actually, have you watched the Mario movie? I'm curious actually, because I remember the old one being. It wasn't something I would say is completely terrible, but it wasn't a very good movie overall. It kind of didn't really stick to the source material too well. The old Mario movie was a fucking weird movie, and I don't know why they thought their best way to handle things would be to go full on focused on trying to make things live action and then putting in like bits of CG everywhere to like fill in the gaps. It looked so ugly, and the writing was kind of all over the place with how weird it was, and none of it really happened to be very good. It wasn't a terrible movie, but yeah, it was more of a movie I used for a laugh, like you said. For a laugh, that's about it. Stay away. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that entirely. There's some that I've heard are good. I've never really watched all them, but I hear like Prince of Persia movie is apparently good. Honestly, that's the only one I can think of. I know there was a Street Fighter movie that doesn't look terrible. I've never watched it, and there's one other, if I could remember what it was, that was kind of neat. I think there's a Mortal Kombat movie that's kind of decent, but yeah, a lot of game movies don't end up turning up very well. I still need to see what the movie for, like, the Sonic movie is, like, see what that's like. I know they're making a second one next year, and I've seen a lot of people talk about the Sonic movie. If anybody's watched it, like, how is it? I was going to watch it before the pandemic fucking got everything out of control, and then made it really awkward to sit down and fucking go and watch it, so ended up not getting to see the movie. I made a Mortal Kombat live action. I think that's the one I was thinking of. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, I remember something along those lines. I think I remember hearing about that back in the day, and like there being like mixed reception about how it was kind of a dumb movie and not the best. But I also know that even if it isn't like a very good plot line, from what I remember watching out of the games, Mortal Kombat's never been like very good story structure. Like every time I look at a storyline from a Mortal Kombat game, it looks like they just kind of string the story along and make shit up as they go in the game. So trying to net a movie for not following the plot line of Mortal Kombat is kind of a dumb thing, because, I mean, why would you want the plot line of a movie to be based on a really stupid style of storytelling for the video games? About to cook. Sounds like fun. I've been doing a little more than normal recently, but not too much. I haven't cooked since my last meal where I sat down and cooked anything. I cooked like catfish, and I've got some more left over that I haven't gotten ready to cook just yet. It's been in my fridge for a little bit, and I've been trying to get the pan cleaned in the dishwasher, and once that's done, I'm probably gonna... The fuck is going on outside? I heard a fucking really loud engine going by, probably a motorcycle or something. Whatever. Shit, accidentally missed the statue. Oh well, we're getting it now. But yeah, I haven't had anything that I've cooked since then. It was pretty good though, fairly simple. I don't really like to do dishes. I don't cook a whole lot since I have not been doing much to do cooking lately. First game in terms of purchase in 2021. I haven't even been able to really buy anything yet, even if I want to. I've been too busy holding on to money for a cell phone, maybe next month, but this month is not something I can afford to, and, well, I'll just say right now that last month I was saving money as well. I've been forced to penny pinch quite harder than I wanted to in order to make sure that I could afford a new phone, because God knows I've been needing a new phone really, really badly, and now I've finally been able to actually get one, and don't exactly have a lot of spare money to spend. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like I'm going to get the stimulus check unless I bother to go and file for it, so yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed about that, actually, considering the fact that I don't have any spare money for stuff. I mean, new releases wise, I don't know if there's anything I'm really looking at the moment. There was something I think I saw earlier that I was looking into, but I don't remember what it was. Actually, give me a second or two. I'm gonna check that Switch subreddit, because there may have been something on there that I forgot about when it came to games that I was meaning to bring up. I'm just checking really fast. I don't see anything about anything new right now. I think that we're probably, like, there's nothing really big to talk about right now. 2 or 3 games compared to the moment. Yeah, I've been on the opposite end, where I've had not a lot of spending money, period, and I've been looking into stuff that I want to get after I get some spending money. I guess I'm gonna have to sit around and look at my older games library right now and play stuff I've already got, because I don't know if I can dedicate money to another new game right away, and by the time I have some, then I think, as much as I wanted to pick it up, I'm probably going to be waiting a while until I get the opportunity where I buy a, like, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That's one thing I don't think I'm getting anytime soon, and I think I'm going to look into maybe... Oh, excuse me. Well, for one, I'm going to either decide between Monster Hunter Rise or probably Balan Wonderworld, and I... Yeah, throat's acting up really badly, I'm sorry. Ugh. Like I was saying, I've been studying up on that game a little bit more out of double-checking my stuff, actually. Let me see. Sound like you and your own money? That's fair, I guess. I wanted to look into the series that I was talking about a little more. I mean, it's a new series, technically, but I know that Balan Wonderworld's apparently a spiritual successor to Night. I actually took a little bit of time yesterday before I went to bed, and I did a little bit of research on the Night series, and I found a few interesting things. Not like a lot of stuff that was really, really incredible, but there was some neat info out there. I'm surprised, because I was looking at this info and I thought it was a somewhat bigger series. Turns out the Night series only spans like 2 video games. Sega made the original, and then they made like a Wii game later on as a sequel to the like original game. Apparently there was like some Christmas promo thing they also did, so they have made 2 or 3, depending on how you look at it, and it didn't really get very far as a series, evidently, since it only has 2 games. If you're talking about Balan Wonderworld, I think Balan Wonderworld's like... I think it's on every main console. I don't know if they're releasing on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but I do remember looking at the website and it advertised PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch release, as well as like a PC release, so they're very clearly seem to meet like pretty much all the platforms, it seems like. It looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to getting it. I even thought about maybe trying one of the Nights games on stream. The problem is that I don't think I'm going to, because the fact that after I get done with this shiny hunting crap, I'm probably going to want a little bit of a break, and by the time I'm ready to go back to doing any more, and even if it's for just little updates I mentioned, I think I'll probably be spending most of February not streaming so that I can take it easy after how much time I've been burning through. I'd like to try some of the games out, though. The Nights games are They look kind of different from what I was expecting, but not by too much, because you're like, it looks like you're like flying through rings or whatever, and something about going through people's dreams, I don't completely understand the concept of what the series is like. I think I'm gonna have to play the game to actually get an idea of what it's like. It looks alright. I don't know. I'm definitely more interested in Balan Wonderworld since it looks like it's going to be a 3D platformer that has like elements of knights in it, and it looks pretty good, so I'll be more than happy to look into it. It's funny when I bring this up, like, I don't know if you guys agree on this, but looking at like catalogs of games from Sega, it seems like Sega has a lot of old legacy IP that they don't really touch anymore. They have so many series they made that were really, really good, and they kind of discarded a lot of them. Sega's put all their emphasis on mostly being based on fucking Sonic right now, and I know they've done like maybe a little bit of other stuff like Puyo Puyo, Yakuza. You don't see many of their old ones getting any attention anymore. I never even grew up on Sega, but I know about there being a lot of series, and some of them I found out about recently because I found a channel that was like supposed to be like the Game Center CX stuff, and it was like showing some Sega games off throughout this like segment that I caught, and there were quite a few games that were on the systems. Apparently there was one that's like a Fire Emblem-like series called Shining Force. I've never actually played it. Looks kind of interesting. I think it's another strategy game, and it's definitely got that kind of anime art style. It looked okay. I don't know if I would like it. There's Alex Kidd. Anybody remember that? Alex Kidd was like the thing that was supposed to be Sega's original mascot. Oh boy. Hold on a second. Hey, Anime Traps. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. Hey, Wayne, you still here? Just double checking. Not really a big deal. Okay, just making sure. Not a Sega fan. Don't hate their games. Never really played them. Played Crazy Taxi. Yeah, it's another one that's like legacy game. I've seen a like Crazy Taxi a few times. It looks like a fairly interesting game title. I don't know if I love it. The gameplay looks like it's very repetitive, considering you're like hauling people around in taxis and getting them to their destination and not really much else, so I don't know if I would enjoy it. It seems like an alright game. There's a lot of cool Sega franchises I found out about. I'm not a big fan of their stuff, but they have quite a few legacy things on their system. Like, another one I remember was that Space Channel 5 game. I remember that because I saw that on like a Dreamcast collection on Steam, and apparently the whole Space Channel 5 thing is fairly fun and fairly interesting, so I might have to check that one out at some point. Another good-looking Sega franchise. Let's see. What else was there, if I can remember? There's quite a few good ones, and not remembering all of them at the moment, because I guess it's easy to remember all the basic stuff they do. Thinking here. I just had some stuff on my mind that I forgot. Oh, right, Jet Set Radio was also fucking really, really unique and really, really interested. I have that on my Steam because they gave it away for free at one point. I need to try that. I need to see what Jet Set Radio's like, because I hear it's a fairly good game that has a fairly fun gameplay loop, and it's better than some of the other stuff Sega's put out there. I know they've made like 2 Jet Set Radio games. You're happy you don't have to do the tiles for the Regice. I don't really blame you. It's not a fun thing to put up with. I'm kind of getting a little bit annoyed at how long the shiny hunt's going, I'm not gonna lie. This thing could have popped up shiny at literally any point in this hunt. We're getting really close to 3,000 encounters, and it's still not showed up, despite all this fucking time wasted. Like, good lord, I just want my Regice to be shiny already. I want to be done with this fucking hunt. I'm going to be very glad when it's over with. ugh. And I still have 4 other ones after this one's done. I'm not looking forward to going after Regice, even though I'm planning to do that one next. That's going to be something. Maybe I'll get lucky and one of them will show up early, though. I don't know. Hopefully. If games are only for certain people. And it's fun. Yeah, it depends on that to an extent, I'd say. Even with Pokemon, like, this isn't always super unfun. I don't know if I would love doing Pokemon so much. The shiny hunting kind of keeps it a little more fresh for me, where I feel like I enjoy the shiny hunting more, so I think this is a decent gameplay loop. I'm not a big fan of playing repetitive games all the time. Not that they're bad, though. There's some really good ones out there. I mean, even though I ragged on a few times, Mario Odyssey has a really, really repetitive gameplay loop as well, and that game is probably one of the better titles on the Switch. I'd say Mario Odyssey gives you like a good chunk of gameplay for quite a lot of hours and gives you a lot you can do out of it. I definitely got my money's worth out of Mario Odyssey, to say the least. Man, let's see. What's everyone been playing right now, out of curiosity anyway? I've been looking for new games to mess around with, not even on stream. I want to do new stream games at some point, but I'm looking at new stuff I want to play for stream as well, and I haven't found anything that I've been too interested in yet. I went to my Steam library and I've been looking at some stuff. I think I mentioned on another stream, I've been talking about puzzle games a little bit before, and I remembered one that I had installed, and I've been thinking of playing again, because I tried it like a long time ago. It's called The Ball. It's some game by the guys who made Killing Floor, and really, really odd-looking concept. You roll like a ball around. I think you have to use it to defeat enemies and open up doorways and shit, and you have to, like, roll this ball to, like, an end point, I think, and I don't think you get, like, any actual weapons. You're just supposed to use this ball to help you with, like, everything in the game, whether it be from combat to just making progress in the game forward. I've been thinking I would check up on that and see if it's any fun. I haven't gotten around to trying it yet, and I don't know if I'm gonna love it. I remember when I first played it, I didn't really enjoy it. I think I got it because of the Portal 2, like, ARG thing that was going on. Speaking of that, actually, any of you guys ever, like, seen, like, the ARGs or, like, ever participated in one? Like, if you're not aware of what that is, it's like a really, really weird, really, really neat concept, though. It's like you have, like, a big... How do I describe it? It's kind of hard to figure out how to word this. Like, they're set up if there's, like, clues for something in, like, a decoded message, and usually it's, like, for not just one person, but, like, an entire community to work through, like, a giant puzzle or whatever and solve it and decipher parts of it. I've seen a few of those. I think only 2 or 3, and ironically, I think there were 2 of them for Portal 2, and first one was really small scale, second one was really big scale. That was a weird time, too. I remember, like, watching all that, people buying stuff, trying to understand, like, the meaning behind all this, like, crap that was being released in games. Because, like, they hinting, like, hey, play these games and you can decode a message out of them. And apparently, if you finished it and enough people did it like, quick enough, the ARG would let the game unlock really, like a few days early. Like, I think it's, like, up to a week early. Really, really weird, really, really neat concept. I'd say it's cool for driving hype for games, but I don't know if there's that many people who want to participate in an ARG. They're really confusing, so, Whatever, though. Not a big deal. So, let's see. Is chat okay before I say anything else? Just, like, curious. I'm surprised nobody's really talking in the stream about anything. Not a big deal. I thought it'd be worth discussing the whole ARG thing I mentioned in this. So I mentioned this game, and I think I was involved in that. I was talking about games I've been trying to look into for stuff to play, like looking at some older stuff I have. I haven't ever. I haven't played the Far Cry series, and I like it. I haven't really played a ton of it. I actually reinstalled my Far Cry 3 on my computer recently, and I have been looking to really sit down and like play through the whole thing at some point, probably really soon. Don't think I'm going to do it on stream. Far Cry games are pretty good. I think Far Cry 3 was my first one, and I never sat down and played it. I don't know why. I guess I'm just picky. I tend to be bad about, like, sometimes starting games and then not really finishing them. It's a bad habit I get into, and then never really do anything to get back to the games. It's not something I enjoy doing, though. There's been more games that I've put on hold and not really finish as a result of that kind of stuff, though. I don't know if anybody else ever ends up doing this. I don't know. If you lose interest in a game, it can be really hard to get hooked back on the game and actually want to play it, so might just be me, might be a fairly common thing. Hold on a second, I'm gonna check my list again and see if there's anything I want to bring up for discussion for a little bit. I hope the chat's okay, because I genuinely don't know. I'm surprised it just kind of died down without much talking, actually. Before we move on to another subject, actually, because I almost forgot about this, like, wasn't there something about Victini being in the files for Crown Tundra and, like, Sword and Shield? I don't think anybody's found a way to actually unlock Victini or, like, encounter it. I'm surprised that there's, like, code and there doesn't seem to be a way to bump into it. That's something I find to be really interesting. I think you can probably bring it over from, like, Pokemon, I'd say Pokemon Go. That's not really accurate. I don't think you can get on Go yet. Maybe I'm wrong. And, like, I think you can still bring it over from older generations, although I'm wondering why they have a thing in the Pokédex port and you can't get it through other means. There's some others that are like this too, though, like Genesect. There's a few that are only available through transfer into the game, so I guess it's not that surprising. I don't know, whatever. I remember seeing that because it was like a thing about shiny locking, and what do you know, Victini was on the list alongside some other Pokemon, alongside like a few Pokemon that have been shiny locked for years and never had the shiny lock released on them. Let's see. Give me a second or two, I'll change the topic now. Okay. Here's another thing for a little bit, which maybe nobody won't talk about, but I don't know. Anybody play, like, any Pokemon clone games if you actually like Pokemon? Like, anything you guys find to be fun that you guys have checked out in that regard? I've seen, like, a few different ones, and they look okay. Never really got involved with any of them too much. I don't really care much for the whole Pokemon clone thing. Cooking, trying to bounce around. Alright, that's fine. Just checking, because the chat room was, like, kind of looking like it was dead for a second there, and I couldn't really tell, and I was a little bit concerned about the chat room was working, so yeah, a little concerning at some points. Thinking on Pokemon clones, actually, and I've only really seen, like, a little bit of a few. Like, I think there's that Necromon thing. Looks interesting. No shiny stuff in it. Seems like a decent clone. Don't really care about it. It seems alright. I think it's sprite-based, and considering that, like, I actually find that I don't mind that. In some ways, old sprite-based Pokemon was actually a little bit better. Let's see. Sanctuary, it's free on Game Pass. I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what that's like. I think I've heard of the Monster Sanctuary thing. I think there's some other game that I remember recently that I heard about called, like, what was it again? Ooblets or whatever? That was an indie thing or whatever. I think they released that. Seemed like a Pokemon clone. It looks alright. Not like it's amazing, but I've heard that game is pretty good. It's also got its own version of shinies. It seems like it's like got a very specific theme though, with like music and stuff. And I don't know if excuse me, my throat. I don't know if I really dig the vibe of their like a game like that too much. It seems like a cool concept, but not something I would really get into. As far as like the most recent ones that I remember, and probably one that's gotten a lot of attention that I think has died down and has been like, what's it called again? If I can remember, Tim. Tim got a lot of attention from the developers, and they made a lot of changes to it, and fan base didn't like some of their changes, and as a result, Tim kind of died off in popularity, and I'm not surprised. I personally didn't care too much. It looked okay, I guess. It was a decent clone that I had quite a bit of effort put into it. I don't see anybody talk about that one, like, at all now, though. It was definitely a, like, really big point of contention where a lot of people were talking about it after being upset with Sword and Shield, though. It actually would have been nice to see Sword and Shield lose sales data and actually have Game Freak have to admit they're wrong, but whatever. I don't know, like, a lot about Pokemon clones in general, so I figured to be tongue-tied for a little bit. There's definitely some others out there. I don't know if there's anything else I want to add to the topic I was discussing. Sanctuary is a 2D Pokemon, but think of Metroidvania. That sounds pretty interesting, actually. I've never really heard of a concept quite like that. Sounds fairly unique, at least. My throat's acting up really badly. Oh, sorry, I might have to get water. I wasn't expecting I'd need it. Yesterday I had to get it because I was feeling dehydrated. Today I'm just having nasty shit bothering my throat. Okay, here's another topic I'm going to throw out there for discussion, and it relates to Pokemon a little bit. Do you guys play any of the, like, say, fake games or fan games? Maybe fake would be the right word, like the Pokemon fan games. I've never cared for them. I was wondering, because I was thinking it'd be interesting to have a discussion over the point of, like, people who make fake Pokemon. They always get dubbed, like, Fakemon. It's always interesting to hear people's thoughts about them. And I swear I see, like, a lot of YouTube videos where people are like, oh, I drew up a design for a new Pokemon. It's like, usually a lot of them are fairly ugly and don't actually match up the design of the series very well. I find when I see, like, the kind of Fakemon stuff, usually the designs are really, really unprofessional, not very good looking. Like, the community doesn't understand, and Game Freak has a fairly consistent art style they work with and make a fair, simple way to design their stuff, and usually everything conforms to the same kind of look for Pokemon, and just because you think it looks good doesn't mean it's like a perfect fit for Pokemon. Never really cared much for their fan games. Only plays official release the virus on your PC. I've played like maybe one, and I didn't really enjoy it. That Pokemon Uranium thing people talked about. I don't really care about Pokemon enough to get involved with the fan games too much. They're okay, but usually it is somebody who makes their own Pokemon, and they don't usually look that good, and it's all like somebody trying way too hard to make their idea feel official, and they end up missing certain aspects of what makes Pokemon good in the first place. Even though I don't really love Pokemon in general, there's a lot of problems with it in my opinion, so I don't really care about them. There's some cool looking ones though. So Pokemon Go, and got a home console on the big screen. It looks bad. I don't blame you. It looks pretty bad. They didn't give the graphics much of a boost for being in like this far in HD, and also on top of that, they took the lazy way out of not bothering to fucking keep the national decks and bring all the Pokemon forward. They're going through with making like a huge scumbag change at the literal worst time. They could have easily waited until later, and Instead, they do this on the first home console release. I would have been happier with this game if they'd put the entirety of the Pokédex in the game. At least then there'd be a little bit of excuse why the game wasn't completely up to par. But if they're going to continue this, then I can guarantee I won't be buying Pokemon near as much, frankly. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, I can't read right today for some reason. And said the Switch release first time I'm getting something else. Yeah, there's problems with Pokemon when it comes to this stuff. Like, they didn't do a very good job at this. They could have done a lot more even if they hadn't changed the whole Pokédex situation, but they could have made this look better, kept the Pokemon, made it more interesting. There's a lot of ways they could have spiced the game up or changed things, and they went with the laziest way to bother about changing anything, so this game is not very good. I remember that announcement back, like, when they first were talking about Pokemon games on the Switch and Let's Go hadn't even been released. I think it was like after Let's Go came out, they talked about how they had a mainline Pokemon and game in the works, and that Let's Go was a side project, and it'd be a bigger game for everybody with like all the Pokemon in it. And then here we are, or like a year or two later, and spoiler, they fucking shafted all the fans that actually wanted to get a cool big Pokemon game that had all the Pokemon in it. It's like they completely went back on their word and everybody hates them, so I don't really blame anybody for not liking the way these games turned out, frankly. Look up Pokemon Coliseum more crazy. Yeah, I don't really entirely blame you. The graphics in this game are not very good looking, and frankly, Coliseum was a very, very ambitious game. It wasn't even by Game Freak, which tells you a lot about why it's better, because Game Freak doesn't really give enough of a shit about what they're doing to put a quality game out on the Switch or any home console, it seems. They'd rather just half-ass everything and try to pretend like they do their best. Okay, let me fix this. I need to do something with Discord, since I haven't linked this. I know it's not going to be long. I'll be still streaming, but I mean, might as well do it for anybody who wants to watch. Give me a second. I'm checking the chat too. And then Sword and Shield. I think I just make sure I add that. Yeah, okay, good. Shield just upscaled 3DS models. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they fucking took like existing models and plugged them in the game rather than doing anything else. The funny part about how they didn't bother to add all the Pokemon, they were claiming they ran out of time and couldn't model things, was all bullshit. They didn't make any new models, and people ate their excuse up real fucking quick, and what do you know, they got away with it because people didn't call them out on their shit. In fact, I saw so many people who defended them over this, and it's like, really? You're going to fucking defend them after Game Freak basically lied to your face and told you something that was just straight up untrue? It's like, if you're really that fucking eager to be a fanboy for Game Freak, then yeah, you're probably not gonna get a very high quality Pokemon game again in the future. This game isn't terrible, but it's not good in my opinion, and sitting there excusing everything Game Freak does isn't gonna make the game any better. No, they're not from the ground up. It's already been confirmed quite some time ago that there was a lot of stuff that was reused between, say, 3DS and Switch. That they didn't reuse a lot of their fucking models again. Your uncle came over? That sounds like a lot of fun to deal with. I don't mind having family over, but yeah, sometimes not really a point where you want to talk a whole lot. I don't have that problem too much, though. You guys ever had that feeling, actually, when it comes to company? This isn't a common thing I feel like I deal with, but you get somebody who comes over to your house or apartment or whatever, and then you let them in, you talk with them for a while, and they end up staying like way longer than you anticipate, and you don't want to say anything, but you get to the point where you get really annoyed and you're wanting to tell them to leave already. It's like I was in the middle of something, or you're talking a lot, and it's like I just want to go back to doing what I was doing before. It's like, please, don't drag this conversation out longer than it needs to. And I swear when I get into conversations, I can see like a lot of people who don't know when to shut the hell up and keep dragging the conversation on like extremely long when don't want to talk. It's like they don't know when they need to stop talking, and they'll sit there and talk everybody's ear off and bore them to death. It's not a fun thing to put up with. Let me see. Depends. Oh, God damn it. Okay, as I said, for a second today, I seriously walked by the same fucking floor tile twice and somehow not light it up when I was passing it. Depends on the family member. Definitely some... Which, yeah, I'm not too different. I think we all have that to an extent. Some of us prefer to talk to some family members, other of us don't really want anything to do with certain family members. I mean, there's usually, when you go to family get-togethers for whatever reason, there's always that one person in the room who ends up making things really, really awkward and difficult to talk. It's like, there's always that one person who likes to be awkward and screw with everybody just because they can. And I'm not talking about somebody who has, like, social problems like some of us might have, like, issues of social interaction, whether or not we don't like it or whatever. It's like, I'm talking about somebody who is the type of person who genuinely comes to a family get-together and they make their whole purpose to be as annoying as humanly possible. Those are the kind of people that nobody likes to put up with, whether they're family or not. I don't think I've dealt with that as much, like, over the years, actually. Probably because it's usually when you're younger this shit happens, and by the time you get older, people usually kind of grow the fuck up and stop doing that kind of crap. But I mean, I'm not surprised that it still happens every now and then. Ugh. I don't know. I don't really enjoy, like, I like going to family get-togethers and being around family, but one of the things I don't like about it is the fact that I hate getting out and socializing too much. I always feel awkward because I don't really have a lot that I want to add or say. I feel like I can be a very boring individual and don't feel like I ever had anything to say or add to the conversation. So usually when I'm around family at a get-together or whatever, I'm usually just really quiet most of the time, and I do things just whatever I'm in the mood for. I'll spend a lot of time playing games or whatever. I don't really look to go around and talk to people unless it's a necessity. I don't know about you guys. I just can't. It's not in my nature to want to go and talk to people very often. I try to avoid conversation whenever I can, when it's like when I'm out normally. I mean, not necessarily the best thing, but there's not been really a lot of points where I've needed to. Like, I'll admit it's probably making it harder on me to meet new people and solve my problem I've been talking about on the last update videos. I can talk about that a little more lately, or a little more later, actually. One other thing, like, relating to this that I was going to bring up and I almost forgot, like, this is something I don't see too often. You guys ever have that experience when you're minding your own business and you're out doing something, somebody decides they're going to, like, bother you and try to talk to you or try to, like ask you something, and you don't want anything to do with it. You just want to go about your day and mind your own business. It's really, really annoying when you have to put up with that. It doesn't happen super often, but whenever it does happen, I feel like it's really, really uncomfortable and really, really awkward. I've actually been having some hearing issues over the last few years. Not like terrible hearing issues, but it feels like I have trouble understanding people sometimes, like, really badly, and I have to wait for people to, like, kind of speak up and sometimes yell a little louder for me to actually hear what the hell they're saying, and It's definitely led to some awkward points. And one of the things I can talk about that I've seen, it's been very infrequent, maybe once or twice at most. Like somebody tried to ask me something while I was walking in the city at one point, and I remember couldn't make out a word of what they were saying, so I didn't respond to them when they were talking, and ended up trying to walk away while this person was like yelling at me. It's like, just leave me the fuck alone. I don't really want to engage. I couldn't understand you, and I don't want to sit here and like ask what you're talking about and like misunderstand or not hear you multiple times. Like, I'd rather not sit there and make the situation more awkward than it calls for. I feel like I've dealt with that a few times, and it's definitely not a lot of fun to put up with. I don't start conversations too often as a result of that either, like sometimes, but I'm not the type of person who likes to get involved in conversations often. Give me a second or two. I need a short second to catch my breath while I'm thinking, actually. Excuse me. Give me a moment or two. Let's see what I've got on my mind. I might change, like, to doing some music stuff, actually, because I was meaning to talk about game music some more and listen to some stuff. We did that on a previous stream, and I wouldn't mind putting up some music. We can just listen to game soundtrack stuff for a little bit if you guys want to. Just something I thought would be a good idea. Takes a little bit of tension off the mood, and it's nice to just compare music every now and then, do whatever. Only problem I have is with YouTube and their copyright system, but I don't think they're going to flag game music. Here's another thing that's kind of interesting to talk about. How do you guys feel in regards to, like, toilets versus bidets and that kind of stuff? I use a traditional toilet, and I prefer to do that. I hear a lot of people talk about bidets, and I don't know if I could ever get into using one. I think there's like a few different types of them. I know bidets are like supposed to squirt water, and that's a way to clean yourself. I don't know if I would like that a whole lot. Like, I think they're a Japanese thing, aren't they? I think you can buy covers from them. I don't know, the idea of getting water on you, like even if it's warm or cold or whatever, while you're in the middle of using the bathroom, feels like it'd be really, really awkward. Not something I would like. I will say it's like I've thought about like how I've used toilet paper after this fucking pandemic, actually, and how bad it was to get your hands on toilet paper for quite some time, and yeah, it made me reconsider how I handle like my bathroom business every now and then. I'm gonna get into something I find a little bit gross and I don't like talking about for just a second or two here. I don't know if anybody has anything like relatable they can bring up. At least, you know, like there are problems with like toilet paper. Sometimes I'd like deal with like cleaning myself up when I was using the bathroom through. It was easier since there's like a toilet paper shortage to use the shower. It's gross, but I mean, it gets you clean. It's easy to and clean up the mess from any problem that comes out from that. And it's like, I'm gonna be honest, it can take a while to get done on the toilet when you go to sit down and take care of business. It's like, it might just be me. Whenever I go to use the bathroom, I find myself sitting there for like 20 or 30 minutes, maybe longer sometimes, if I have to sit down and go through the whole wiping process. And I see a lot of people like talk about online how it's like, oh no, you can be done in like 5 minutes. It's like, I'm sorry, how are you using the bathroom, and like, what is your process for actually cleaning your ass if you're actually using toilet paper and you're not spending at least like 20 minutes in the bathroom? Like, every time I go to the bathroom and I have to deal with that kind of stuff, it's at least like 10 to 20 minutes at the very least, and then usually it can sometimes go over if I have to sit there and wipe for a long period of time. It's all dependent on how your stomach's acting, and then on top of that, sometimes it doesn't all come out when you want it to, so you have to sit there and wait even longer. Ugh, I'd hate talking about this stuff, but figured it would be something I could vent about for a little bit and maybe hear anybody's thoughts on this too a little bit. I don't know. I think one of my least favorite things I have to deal with when I go to the bathroom, and this is a thing I don't know how many people talk about. You know when you go to the bathroom and you have a stomach cramp, and then when you get done, you find your stomach starts hurting again sometimes? That's something I fucking hate dealing with when it comes to, like, dealing with bathroom business. I don't know if I say I deal with it super often, but it happens every now and then. It can be really annoying. You take care of using the bathroom, then all of a sudden it's like, oh great, my stomach wasn't reacting earlier, and now it's suddenly signaling me to go back to the bathroom. It's like, that is always a fucking miserable and annoying feeling. If there was one thing I could change about, like, everyday life that I wish we could change about being human, I think the one thing I would be happy to change would be if we could have some other method than, like, if we're going to the bathroom, like, fucking shitting and wasting away time. I think that's something I don't love dealing with. That's something I hate putting up with, in my opinion. I don't know. It feels like it wastes a lot of time in the day. It's a very, very nasty thing to deal with, and very much something I don't enjoy dealing with each time I have to do it every day. It's like, whatever. Also, this is probably not uncommon. I swear your body, like, schedules, like, everything on you do your day, and, like, schedules you, makes it forces you to go to the bathroom a certain time every day, and it makes it really, really awkward if you have plans and you want to do stuff, and then stomach problems come up because of that. I don't like dealing with that either. I think I'm done talking about that subject for now, but I thought I would discuss it for a little bit, because it seems like a decent topic to bring up, and something kind of relevant. I'm sorry it's been a little bit of a gross conversation topic, but I'm just trying to make like a little bit of talking for a little bit, trying to think of anything that's good to discuss for right now that I wanted to go on about. Okay, give me a second or two, actually. I'm going to do something I said I was earlier. We'll put on some music from different games, and if anybody has any song requests they want to listen to from, like, game soundtracks, then you're more than welcome to discuss those and bring up whatever kind of things you want to listen to. I don't mind. We'll do some Pokemon type music, like some stuff from other Pokemon games or spin-offs or whatever for a starter, and then we can change it up to some other music after. I don't mind, so give me a second. I'll start this up and we'll see what we can find. By the way, since I haven't checked, chat is fine, right? I don't know if YouTube's acting up or not. I can't see the viewer list, like, working completely correctly, and I don't know if it's all good or not. Let's see, give me a second. Here's something I'm sure you guys will like. I need to have a second to look the song up, though. Okay, I think I found it. Just a second. I have my Chrome on mute to avoid echoing issues normally, so... There we go. Oh, that's loud. Fuck. Let me turn that down. Okay, that should be good, and... Right. Let's continue now. Let me see. Talking about, I didn't see you put something new in the chat. Give me a second and I'll read your message and see what you're talking about. I need a moment or two to light up the floor again, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know whether or not the viewer count's non-existent or, like, broken or what. It doesn't seem to display shit correctly, whatever, though. This is from the trading card game, actually, not the Puzzle League game. Yeah, this one's a fairly simple one. This is the battle theme from the trading card game. So let's see, where was I? I'm trying to read your message. As soon as I get my eyes on it, just buy a game purchase, and only buy games to complete them, or do you... As well, I feel like in a lot of games, it's really just a matter of whether or not I get enough enjoyment out of it, and For most single-player games, I play, like, yeah, I'll play through and beat them. It depends on the game, though, since some games are designed to be unbeatable and not really designed in the way you can actually complete them. It really depends on the hours, I think, mostly, and how fun the game is. I mean, hours is definitely a good measure, but also it doesn't always matter. Animal Crossing and this game are both designed to suck away your time, so not really a good way to measure whether or not the games are good, in my opinion. I think the one thing I would say is my number one answer is that the game is fun and overall enjoyable. If I get a large amount of hours out of it, that's something I'll like. I'm not too picky about my game preference. It's just gotta be something that I'm interested in and actually like. I mean, I've had plenty that I picked up that I haven't liked, though, like Pokken and that game I got in December. Or was it December? I guess it was. I played that and I didn't really find myself loving it like I was expecting to. I don't know. I couldn't even, like, think what my worst purchase on anything is. I've definitely had some bad ones. If you spend gift card money, holiday, and then to lose. Yeah, I don't always do that, but I try to in a lot of cases, but you never really can know if you're going to get into a game that's going to be good until you actually try it. Demos are dying out. Apparently, game rentals are slowly fading away. There's not really any way to judge a game preemptively. You just have to go in blind a lot of times and hope for the best. Not something I enjoy. I mean, I guess there's stuff like Gamefly or whatever, but apparently that chain I was talking about before in my streams is apparently closing down. That family video place isn't going to be around for much longer. I'm probably going to check because they're selling all their games, see if there's any that I can get for cheap, like maybe if they've got fucking Let's Go Pikachu for like $15 to $20, I might consider snatching it up over there if there's an opportunity, but otherwise probably won't even think about it. Oh man. One thing that, since we talked about like games that I don't really like or do, like, I honestly like games too hard. That's one thing that really turns me away from playing a game, or if they're just not fun. Those are things I don't enjoy. When they're too hard, it usually just feels like it's unenjoyable and not worth the time wasted. It could be one of the better games out there and one of the best games, and if it's too challenging, it just takes all the fun out of it. Okay, let's do another thing that'll be good. Give me a second. I'm looking up another Pokemon thing, then we'll switch over to music from other game series, I think. There we go, this will be good. I don't know. I played a few hard games that turned me away from them pretty quickly, though. It's not saying all hard games are bad, but games that are really hard and unforgiving are usually something I don't want to waste my time with. That's one thing that turns me away from a game really quickly, is how difficult the game is, and if it's too difficult, it ends up being something that I just fucking rather throw in the trash. Also, I don't have much of a love for fighting games, because fighting games are fucking really difficult to learn how to play, and usually it ends up being... I think I missed an encounter, shit. Whatever. But yeah, normally fighting games aren't too fun, because it takes a lot of time to get used to them, and they aren't great gameplay experiences, in my opinion. I don't know, it depends on who you ask, actually. Give me a second or two, I'm just thinking. God, this music is fucking good. I kind of want to replay Pokemon Black and White listening to this again, because, God, this is some good music. Let's see here. Okay, here's something I didn't talk about a lot. I talked about it yesterday, only a little bit, though. How do you guys feel on artwork and, like, painting and stuff and, like, that kind of thing? Whether it be looking at it or actually trying to do stuff with art. I like to draw. I like to try to do stuff with art. I don't feel like I get very much time where I sit down and actually try to do anything with art. It's fun and it's enjoyable, but I don't have naturally good drawing skills. I typically need a reference to even draw something, and very easy for me to mess stuff up if I don't have a clear idea of what I want to draw before I start drawing it. I haven't drawn anything in a while, actually, since I moved out. I haven't really done it. Usually it feels like I need like a good blank sheet of printer paper or something, whatever, handy to sit down and start drawing on before I'm ready. I don't feel like notebook paper is as good for it. It's still alright, like the plain design in front of me and be able to draw what is in my head rather than sitting there and having trouble like picturing what I'm trying to draw or getting it to work. Drawing's a nice outlet in my opinion. I find drawing to be pretty fun, and I think most people enjoy drawing, frankly. I think I've done a little bit of painting because I was in art class when I was younger. It was pretty fun, but I don't know how people are so good at painting. I'd try. It's hard for me to get everything the way I want it to, even more so than drawing. Especially when it comes to painting and how gotta be careful about mixing your colors or making sure you get like certain shapes. It's usually really, really awkward. Bob Ross, that guy, even though he's gone now, like Bob Ross was fucking talented with art, and goddamn, what a man. He managed to make his art really look good and feel like it came to life every time he drew. I'd say that man had some serious talent. Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out what's a good thing to listen to right now. We'll do some from, let's say, Mario RPG for the moment, then we'll switch the music over to something else afterwards. Anybody got any soundtrack suggestions you want to listen to? Like, stuff that you think would be good for us to put on play? If not, no big deal. Just thought it'd be a good idea. I like talking about game soundtracks and music in general quite a bit. So, I mean, it's always fun to sample different music or talk about it. I've seen a few people come around and say they don't like music. I don't understand that, to be honest. I can understand not listening to it very often or not really getting super involved with it, but I don't know how you can just not like music. It feels like it's alien to say something like that. Like, there's so many different types of music out there, and music can really enhance an experience in something and make it feel more interesting, make things feel more alive. Music is always nice, in my opinion. I don't know how somebody can tell you they don't like listening to music. God, there's some... it's funny, I don't know why, for some reason when I listen to music, I do have a very, very huge preference for, like, video game music, I guess because I've heard it more and I've gotten slightly biased from listening to it so long, but oh man, a lot of soundtracks in games are done so fucking well. I'll move over to another topic for right now, since I don't know if anybody wants to talk too much about the whole game music discussion. Since we were talking about art earlier, I didn't really completely talk about it too much. You guys do art at any point? Like, any sculpting, anything like that? I did some stuff with, like, clay, I think, when I was in art class, and I enjoyed messing around with that a bit. That was pretty fun, in my opinion, so I thought it's fun to work around with those kind of things and try to make projects like that. That was something I found good. I'd never really done much with it. I know you can do pottery with clay, and it seems like a decent thing. Never really been great at molding stuff. It's always cool to see, like, clay sculptures, though, and see people put their fingers to work and then make something really, really good looking, so I have a high degree of respect for people who can do that. What else is there art-wise that I'm forgetting about? If I can... anything else I can remember? Those are, like, some of the easy ones to think about. I guess, like, sketching and doodling, and then there's animation. Animation's kind of a whole nother thing to bring up, though, so I'm not going to discuss it today. You guys ever go to museums, actually, or do you guys never go out to the museums or anything? You guys, I mean, it's kind of related to travel in general, and I don't travel a lot. I'd like to. I'm more of a home person myself, where I prefer to stay home and do whatever and make sure that I can enjoy myself. I mean, I get bored staying alone at home and not doing anything else, but I don't like the act of traveling itself, even though I like going out and seeing new places. If it wasn't for how long it took to travel and how slow it felt, I'd probably get out and travel more. I think there was like some development like on a bullet train or whatever for the US or something, on like some area that you could go to and you could travel through it and it'd get you to where you wanted to really fast. They were working on like an underground tunnel for it. That's something that sounds like it'd be kind of cool, and I would be interested in riding on something like that. So, I mean, that seems like something that could be kind of neat to travel on. Maybe I would try traveling more if there's something like that around. I don't know if that'll be finished anytime soon. The idea of being able to get on a train that goes like super fast and get wherever you need within like an hour or two and travel all around the country sounds like a really, really helpful thing, though. So I think that'd be really nice, actually. Okay, we're gonna do one more song, and then after that, I'll see what I can think of that we can listen to for soundtrack stuff. If there's anything else I have time for before we finish up. Give me a second. I need a moment or two, actually. Not sure what I should listen to that'll be good. Oh, this is one I haven't heard in a while, so let's listen to this. This is a weird one. I haven't heard this song in some time. Mario RPG has some good music. Honestly, there's a lot of good RPG music in general. I've talked about Mario RPG, Mother. Let's see, what else? Persona's pretty good in music. There's a lot of things I could sit down and listen to the soundtrack of for quite some time. Maybe one day I'll go visit a museum, get out and do stuff. What are some fun things you guys seen while you're traveling, like tourist attractions, if you guys travel any, out of curiosity? I don't go out and, like, bother to look at that kind of stuff any. I don't even know if I've been to any places that have, like, big tourist attractions. I may have been, and I haven't really paid attention to any, but I don't get to travel as much as I'd like to, either. I don't know. I do enjoy it, though. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add on the topic of travel. I was hoping more people would be around so we could discuss this a little more, but I don't mind either way, whatever. Not a big deal. Hold on a second, I need to check something. Okay, give me a moment or two. This game is, like, really trying my patience. I was gonna bring up something earlier and I got distracted. It might be better to talk about it tomorrow. I'll just continue talking about this right now. How do you guys feel about RNG in games? You guys ever played any games that have, like, really, really annoying RP? Or not RP, but it's an RNG. Like, say, whether it be RPGs or whatever, like, whether or not you're getting a critical hit or doing something like I'm doing with shiny hunting or anything in between, like, any interesting experiences you guys can share from playing games where you've had to deal with, like, really, really lame RNG. I'm curious to hear if there's anything worthwhile you guys can bring up. Something I don't love about speedruns, I don't think they're bad, but, like, I wouldn't want to do something where RNG can dictate how your run goes, and wouldn't want to put up with that. Anything goes wrong, everything falls to pieces, and then your run's just dead. Kind of a rough thing to think about, frankly. It can be kind of good. I mean, it goes both ways. Get it, like, something cool, like a weapon, get it a critical hit, or just whatever, and get some good luck with it. The music playing? I can't actually tell if it's going, because I thought I fixed the game to go back to playing music, but I am not sure now. Give me a second. I don't know. I've had some rough experiences I hate when games rely on RNG too much, though, and you end up, like, getting stuck on something because you have to do something perfect or just the right circumstance. RNG is always fucking bullshit. One of those kind of things that could be removed from games and wouldn't hurt anything. I don't know. Anybody have like I'm curious, what's anybody's hot moments they've had from like RNG stuff in video games? I don't know if I can think of any in particular. Like, I think best I've had is maybe getting a shiny early on one of my hunts, like say Rookie D or Let's Go. I've had shinies pop up quickly. RNG's a neat topic, but it's also hard to like think of any instances where it's a decent talking point and lovely. Looks like we're gonna likely hit 3,000 with no shiny encounter, and I'm not even surprised at this point. We'll do one last checkup, but I think we're pretty much screwed to not get anything today. Of course, another day wasted. Whatever, not a big deal. Just would have been nice to have shiny to show off after all that time I threw down on this and wasted, so it's disappointing to say the least. It was something I wanted to go a little bit smoother, but no. We're going close to fucking no char mods, I guess. Oh well, whatever. Give me a second or two. I'm just trying to think if there's any big closing statements I have that I wanted to talk about before we stopped. Actually, this is the last encounter, and of course it's not a shiny, just my fucking luck. Whatever. Alright, that'll be our ending point for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm gonna finish up the pattern and get everything saved and whatnot. But we'll have to pick up again tomorrow. I wish this would be over with, though. Okay, 1 second. Is there anything big that's been going on news-wise lately besides all the politics stuff I talked about, actually? I haven't seen anything. I'm just curious. Like, I mentioned the Trump stuff and whatnot, and a few other subjects like that. I haven't seen anything otherwise that's been big on the news. Guess not. Nobody's really chatting any right now, and yeah, I was about to stop the stream, so we'll call it here. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope you all have a great day or night. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get this over with, but I'm not expecting anything. Either way, see you guys later.